So I've only played Final Fantasy XIV for about a year now, but that hasn't stopped me from forming one-sided opinions on every job in the game despite only playing 4. So here's my roasts on every job in 14, except for crafter and gatherer jobs, cause, they're useless. Paladin. I'd rate you about a 40% trustworthiness as a tank. I guess you probably know what you're doing given you've been playing since dirt, but you picked a knight with a sword and shield in a fantasy game. Don't worry, honey, I promise you still stand out with that flaming relic set you got from Heavensward a decade ago. Warrior. Absolutely under no circumstances ever trust a warrior. Yeah, I get it, you can flex a dungeon solo with your self-heal, but you like to yo-yo your health enough to make a grown healer wet his pants. Your hubris in that ability leaves you with 0 self-preservation as you run headfirst into every pull. You might survive, but all it takes is one oopsie and your entire team is dead because of you. I play healer, by the way, in case it wasn't apparent. Gunbreaker. Of all the tanks, I actually trust you. Heck, people can't even get Gunbreaker until level 80 or something, so you probably know what you're doing. I'll give you a 60% trustworthiness. Although you do have that one ability that makes me want to commit premeditated. I know you're invulnerable for like 15 seconds or something, but seeing your health drop to 0 for funsies should be illegal and you should feel bad. Dark Knight. Congrats on being a minority! This is the result of playing every other tank class and having no emotion left inside you. Which means you probably know what you're doing. You get an 80%. Won't make me stop worrying though, watching that MP bar of yours rise and fall faster than Sony's stock market rates. White Mage. You probably think French vanilla ice cream is too spicy, don't you? You're a healer, I guess. It's not like you can contribute anything else to the team. And despite playing Sense of Realm Reborn, you still get KO'd more than a 5th grader playing Fortnite somehow. Astrologian. Thank you for reminding me why Oriange is useless. You probably have a gambling addiction too. Don't worry, sweetie, I'm sure the team will get a heal out of you someday. But hey, while everyone else is working, you go right ahead and keep playing solitaire. Geez, you probably play D&D too, don't you? Scholar. I'll be honest, I completely forgot you existed. The wiki tells me you were once a fan of Alphano, but got bored of having variety. Guess I can't say I've died very often when you're around, so guess you get a pass. Maybe one day you'll do something memorable. Sage. This is what happens when you want to play a DPS but feel guilty for not contributing to society enough. At least you have good taste and realize that all the other jobs have the fashion sense of Gwendolyn the Good Witch. You definitely ain't gonna outpace the other healers though when you put up a shield after the attack has killed your whole team. But hey, you got little floaty things that shoot pew-pew lasers, so that's something. Monk. Who hurt you? Let me guess, you picked up Monk when you started the game because all the other starting jobs were lame. You probably got all the way to Heavensward before the wrist tendonitis kicked in and you dropped the job and never looked back. Unrelated, you probably also have daddy issues, don't you? Dragoon. Wait, for real? It's like seeing a goth in the wild. Look, you seem like you do decent damage and clearly have anger issues, so I'll let you be. Don't come crying to me though when you get picked on by literally every boss for no reason. It's probably because you're an Estinian simp. Not like you're hiding that very well. Ninja. Whoa, look at you, you're a ninja. You're so cool and edgy and special. I bet you watch My Hero Academia without dubs, don't you? Now go hold those swords backwards like a champ and show the world just how great post-Stormblood was, sweetie. Samurai. Gosh, you really went through a whole existential crisis between this and Ninja when you were trying to decide if you wanted to hold the sword forward or backward, didn't you? You probably thought Sekiro looked cool, but obviously didn't have the skills to pull that off, so you just watched a bunch of lore videos instead. Reaper. You're either a Xeno simp or a Zero simp. Either way, it's not looking good for you. But hey, you get a big spinny scythe that's literally 3 times your size and ignores the laws of physics, so that's cool, I guess. Also, I keep mistaking your icon for Summoner. Get that fixed. Viper. You made this job your entire personality when Dawn Trail hit and never looked back. You're so addicted to the neuron activation of all those big DPS numbers that you dive face first into certain death because the Dawn Trail trailer said you look just that cool. So go right ahead and enjoy those dual blades and pretend you're not just an elf-brand ninja. Bard. Why the heck are you a DPS class? You play an overrated miniature harp and make musical memes at hubs. You are the literal definition of a healer in any other game. Actually, I take that back. You might want to seek psychiatric help instead, because you clearly forgot your identity when you pulled out a bow the size of a sedan. Are you gonna play Megalovania or cosplay Hawkeye? Make up your mind. Machinist. You either have an unhealthy obsession with westerns or decide that all that fancy magic tomfoolery was a bit too woke for your taste. Either way, you literally couldn't give a flying Melinda if your team is dying or not and just want to lock the heck in as you focus on your rotation. Unbothered, reloaded, in your lane, moisturized, optional. Dancer. You know, I gotta respect you. You look absolutely ridiculous on the battlefield, but dang honey, work those frisbees. You probably got within the top 300 of some DDR song when you were like 12 and think everything can be solved via a dance battle. That or you're just really obsessed with Simon Says. Black Mage. you realized White Mage was too mainstream and exposed just how much of a Final Fantasy diehard you were. Spoiler, Snowflake, it didn't work. This would be the part where I make fun of your obsession with ley lines, but Twitter's already got me covered there. Don't worry though, I'm sure no one will realize how insecure you are when you go to a hub and activate your weapon stance while you AFK. Summoner. I promise when you call in a giant dragon or rock monster that blocks half the screen of your teammates during the raid, you are in fact not helping. Just play Pokemon Go already and touch some grass. And while you're at it, see if you can find a new icon that doesn't look like Reaper, huh? Red Mage. A sword and a floaty crystal thing. Seriously, could you have picked a more generic Final Fantasy class? Actually, I take that back. You could have picked White Mage, I guess. But I mean, heck, even the devs realized you were so middle of the road they had to give you Furries as a DPS just to stop players from yawning. Pictomancer. You're a furry, we get it. You obviously picked up that class the moment Dawntrail hit like the Cryo simp you are. I bet you still use DeviantArt and pay for Photoshop like a tool, don't you? Well hey, don't let me stop you from holding that tank buster while you whimsically stand there for the next 3 to 5 business days between attacks. Blue Mage. Why do you exist again?